Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Joel. So, we are on episode 11. And before I tell you what this topic is about, is actually a long name for this topic. I'm going to welcome back Caitlyn. This is her third time here, and she was on the episode on loneliness, and she was also on probably my favorite and most like fun episode so far, which was on music. We actually still got to do a part two on that, but I had to make sure that my other guests, along with Caitlyn, are ready, are available to do it. So as of right now, we were going to talk about something different. So welcome back, Caitlyn. It's good to have you.
I'm excited to be back. It's fun.
Yeah, I love doing these. Like I said, I love getting to talk to people like you and other guests on here and just, talking about different topics, whether they're fun or whether they're a little bit more serious. So yes, like I think today is going to be a little different topic. This may be directed more towards Christians because both me and Caitlyn, we consider ourselves Christians. We believe in the Bible, we believe in Jesus and all that. So if if you're not Christian, I still recommend you to watch this. But this topic today is going to be on things that Christians do that are debatable. So some people may be thinking like, what are you talking about? Like, what kind of things could be debatable? Like, there were like four different things that came to mind when I started like thinking of this idea of doing a podcast. So last night I brought these four things up to Caitlin so that we're both kind of prepared on like like Bible verses or just any kind of research that we wanted to do on these things. So the four topics I'll go ahead and tell you within, so it's like subtopics within the topic. So the first one we will talk about is going to be Halloween. And then the next one we are going to talk about is tattoos. And then the third one we're going to talk about is like practicing yoga. And then the last one that we are going to talk about is like the horoscopes and like zodiac signs kind of things that people look into. So we are going to start first on Halloween. So some people view Halloween as pretty satanic holiday. Some people view it more as just as like a fun kind of thing to do on October 31st, or if it's like a the night before, if Halloween's maybe on a weekday and maybe some neighborhoods don't do it on school nights or anything like that. So I'm going to ask Caitlin first, and then I'm going to give my opinion on it. But um, but what do you think about like Halloween when it comes to Christians? Like, do you think Christians should go out and celebrate Halloween?
I think that it kind of depends. And as I was telling you earlier when we were chatting, it really just depends on, I guess, your convictions. Like for us growing up, and for a lot of people, that I went to church with growing up and stuff, um, Halloween was just a fun day, hang out with family, and you got to dress in these kooky costumes or whatever. Like, I mean, as somebody who's watched Harry Potter, I was Hermione Granger like 5 years in a row. Same exact outfit. My parents didn't have to buy anything. It was great. But you just got to dress up as different characters and go out and get free candy. It was just not like that. Like I never we were never raised to think that there was anything wrong with it. But we also were never encouraged like toward demonic stuff either. Like, my mom, when it comes to stuff like that, my mom has always been really good, and my dad too have always been really good to say, this is God's day. This is God's day. When you go out, even though you're dressed up as somebody else, you're still a child of God. Even when you have a different outfit on, you still need to behave like you're a child of God. And so like growing up, that's really kind of the take. Like my mom, my my mom had a friend who shamed her because she took us trick or treating. And my mom was like, well, it is what you make it. If you make it about the devil, then it's going to be about the devil. And then you're teaching your child about these satanic things. Or you can make it as something fun and make it as something that you can do as a family. And it's, family time together and spending time together. And kids get this free candy that the parents have to delve out to them every now and then. The candy will last for months, but unless your parents dig into them. But they just always taught us that it was just a fun thing to do. And I'm actually a Spanish major now, and um, recently learned about All Hallows Eve and where it really derives from, and the Spanish take on that. And the Spanish way of celebrating it is actually through Catholicism, but it is celebrating, All Hallows Eve is what started. It's kind of like the night of preparation to start Dias de los Muertos, which is where they would build altars for the saints and build altars for family members that have passed on. And, you know, seeing different ways that people celebrate it, um, even people who believe different than I do, it's really kind of opened my eyes. I didn't really, until I was, gosh, I was probably in my mid 20s when I even heard the notion really, like, really actually thought of the notion about it being demonic. It was never something that I ever considered being demonic because it was just a fun time with family. Like, I never understood what the big deal is, and I really don't. I understand that there are some Christians who don't feel comfortable, who feel that conviction that they should not be going out that night. And I would say, if that's your conviction, don't do it. Like, anytime that you have a conviction about something, you should not do it. Period. I mean, and that could be as something as simple as, should I go to this place by myself? Or should I go to this place at all? Period. If you have a conviction about going to this place, even if it's not a bad place, maybe you shouldn't go. So you shouldn't go, you shouldn't do it if you have that conviction. So I'm not knocking anyone at all that has that conviction about Halloween, but for me, I really don't see the issue. I mean, as long as you aren't a glutton and don't eat too much candy, I don't see the issue with it.
Yeah, yeah, you make a good point there. Yeah, let's see, definitely don't want to be too much candy because, like I said, that definitely is not good for your teeth, even though it may taste good in the moment. But yeah, like I said, I think, like I said, I didn't really know much about like All Hallows Eve either. So like, I definitely appreciate you bringing that up because I've always heard of it, but like I've never really knew much about it. So like that was definitely something new that I've learned regarding that. And I definitely, like I said, agree with your statement that like it is like based of your own like conviction. Like with my own personal life, like I've always just dressed up in costumes and had a good time with it as a kid. And I got to dress up, whether it was a pirate, a hippie, a ninja, anything like that. Or even recently, like I've dressed up as like Phantom of the Opera. I've dressed up as like Doctor Strange. So just having, even like in my adult years, I still have that like kid like want to still go out and dress up and watch my nephews and nieces go trick or treating, but I still like partake in as far as dressing up. But
Hey, Belle from Beauty and the Beast 4 years running. I had a blue dress one year, yellow dress one year, blue dress one year, yellow dress one year. I mean, I just went back and forth with it. It was fun.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, like I just love like still like getting to be a kid at heart and like just having fun with it and not taking life too seriously. But yeah, like I said, I definitely think that like I've never known Halloween as being something that was kind of dark until like I had a Halloween party about like 10 years ago, and like I was inviting people from school or like people that I like was friends with from outside of school. like asking them like if they want to come, and like one specific person told me like they weren't coming. They were like, that's satanic. Like that's a satanic holiday. Like I'm not celebrating that as a Christian. And I was thinking like, like, oh, like, I never like I've been a Christian for as long as I've known, as long as I can remember. And like I've never been told that like Halloween was something dark or something that was scary. Or I mean, like, I guess I can see like the scary movies and the haunted houses and all that, but I guess just like as far as going trick or treating or just having a fun Halloween party where everybody's in costumes and just eating chips and chicken fingers and dancing and all that, I just don't see any